Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, good. To all the Muslim, we begin by reciting the Al-Fatihah first, and then the Salawat. Fatihah. Okay, so we continue our class today. Anything you want to ask about anything? I did send to you in the WhatsApp the first autonomous vessel. First autonomous vessel in Norway. Okay, you heard about autonomous vehicle, right? Autonomous lorries, trucks, but this one is the first autonomous electric cargo ship. Quite important event happening in Norway, whereby they'll have launched very advanced fully EV cargo ships. Not only EV but autonomous, meaning that there's no no captain, no crews to drive at the point to maneuver the vessels. It's all computerized. It's all autonomous. Just imagine big ships, a cargo ship is autonomous. They must be very, very sophisticated. Why? Because any mishap or any accidents will cost damage worth of billion of dollars, because of big ships and also cargo ships. So a very good progress in mankind advancements, to go for green. You just imagine if this ships is successful launch and without any problems. Just imagine in future what will be, right. There will be no using of bunker. All use electricity. Okay, so you go and read that one. It's very important milestone for the maritime sector. Okay, we go for the slide today. Okay, can you see the slide?
Just a second.
So we on today is the last slide on type of ships. We have gone through first of all last week class is about apa nama ni type of ships, cargo ships. And the dimension, displacement, stability. These are the construction based on ships. And then we go for container ships, bulk carrier ship, tanker ship, passenger ship, all those things. Right. And then we go to the container vessels development progress from the first container vessels being launched in 1956 right until to date. So it's now come to 6 generations. You see how the punya progress. Okay. First generation 1956 connected cargo vessels, right? Converted cargo vessels, length under 35, draft 3 meter, 1 meter, TUs 500 to 300, 800, 5 to 800. Second generation 1970 to 80s, cellular container ship can carry more, 1000 to 2005, right? Third generation Panamax class, okay, Panamax class, whereby the ship can go through Panama Canal, around 3,000 to 5,000 TEUs, right? Getting bigger and bigger. Fourth generation post Panamax, right? 4,000 to 5,000 TEUs. Fifth generation post Panamax plus, bigger, even bigger, 5,000 to 8,000 TEUs. Come to 24,000 TEUs today. So just imagine the ship keep on growing in the size and the carrying capacity. From 1956, you see the graph is going up. The trend is going up. right? Okay, further up, even more than this graph. This one is quite 2010 graph. Now it's 2021. It go beyond even 22,000. Go beyond that. Just imagine the mass ship size every year is going to getting bigger and bigger, right? Is there is a reason why, right? Okay, so this time we touch about what we touch about the inventor of container itself. Without the container, there won't be any ship like this size, right? Mostly are bulk cargo ships or bulk cargo ships. But because of the inventor Malcolm McLean in 1946, with the help of his engineer Keith Linger, they designed a container box that is now being carried all around the world, a standardized container box. For that reason, mobility of cargo is being expedite it's been expedite uh, uh, very fast compared to before without container, without the material handling, right? So the movement of cargo is slow. With containerization, is getting faster. Even it save 3 weeks at a time of mobility of cargo. 3 weeks at a time save. So it's a lot of saving times and saving money lah. Uh, and the most important thing is that the cargo can be mobilized around the world very fast, right? Very quick as before compared to before. Lah. Then ISO standards recognize the inventions to be a standardized box around the world, and with that they have created many material handling equipment that will make the mobility even faster, more efficient, and more effective. Right? So containerization is very good step in ability of cargo and general container. You cannot have e-commerce like today very fast. You order today, next week can come to you, right? Although you order from US or China, whatever, right? So because of the containerizations, the movement is very fast, right? Because of transportations, the movement of cargo is very fast, innovative transportation, everything, right? So it's very important milestone, the invention of container. And container cannot perform, like I told you before, cannot perform without the help of palletizations. Now palletization also they going what uh, more more effective and efficient in terms of the design of pallets. But the design of pallets not much been improved. Only the size of pallets can is increasing. Why? Because the forklift, the material handling for the pallets is getting bigger and can carry more weights as before. That's why you can pack and unpack a container very fast. And because of the size of pallets can fit in, the width of the pallet can be the size of the container. So you just put in the cargo on the content on the pallets and then move it in the container. You can think only 1 minute with forklift. So for forklift size also is capability so increase. Not only can carry 1,000 pounds or kilograms, you can carry even to 5,000 kilograms of cargo. So that one also expedite the whole process of containerization. Even containerization will lead to what they call it globalizations of the world, whereby people can outsource productions all around the world. And because of globalization also, China develops. China developed very fast. Just in 30 years, 30 to 40 years, China happened to be the second economic power in the world, right? Now it's the first, actually, it's the first, coming first, even beating America because of globalization. Because those mostly those days, the manufacturers, the power plant for manufacturing goods and products are based on in US and Europe, but they outsource it from China because of the cheap labor, and the cost is cheaper due to containerization, right? So they outsource it. Even in Malaysia also they outsource it in South Asia. Until then, this country learn very fast, especially China. Right? So they develop their own industries, and they make their own things based on the outsourcing initiative done by the developed countries before. Right? You just remember, in China they have a policy in 1980s, because the country in 1980s are very poor country, China in 1980s. Even they have a policy that what uh, they control the birth. Only one children per family only, no more, cannot get more. So in 1980s they introduced the policy because they're very poor. They worried they cannot feed the people. But because of actually the policy itself now is threaten China, because China punya population now is growing, getting older. In 1980s until now is 40 years. It's getting older. So China need new population, new young population that can work hard and can work more productive, right? So the policy actually threatens China today, and they have changed it to 3 children per family, and give incentive to all the families to have more children. But China people have changed their culture already due to the policy initiated in 1980s. So they don't want more kids. Well, although all the incentive they have, but they don't want it. They still want to have a small family. Now China should change their strategy in human resource development, not focusing on what employment on on quantity, but on the quality of the employees. So China must develop high quality employees. Okay, but high quality employees is at price, is expensive, right? Because you're depending more on robots, right, and more on high skilled employees, highly educated employees. So their one is high cost. So maybe in future, China is no is happen is China. What happened to the developed countries is happening to China, right? Because in developed countries everything is expensive because of the labor is expensive. But in China now it's still okay. But in future, if they cannot expand the populations, there will be no more labor, cheap labor. So the labor will be very expensive, same like the Europeans and the Western are facing before. So the cycle will be the same, I think, if China doesn't change the policy well. So these are the thing about a little bit about the world scenario I'm telling you just now. So about the type of container ship is this one is called a cellular container ships, whereby they have a brace the compartment based on the size of the container. And this is very important because they will hold the container tightly during the journey, right? Because as you all know, the sea is not always what call it smooth journey all the time on the sea, right? Sometimes you'll be facing thunderstorm, you'll be facing typhoon, everything, right? So this is very important to hold the container well. With cellular like this, yes, the container can be managed well. But if you use lashings like grills, like iron steels to hold the container box, usually it's happen that they need to tighten up they check and tighten up the lashings frequently, so that it's always tight because the ship is moving, because of the frictions or the what the ship's movement on the sea is not stable. Then the box of the container box is not tightly tied to the lashings, so they need to tighten up now and then to check it. So in order to avoid the containers to collapse or to fall on each other. If that one happen, it will have a domino effect on others, on other containers. Okay, type of container ship based on sizes. Number one is small feeder. Small feeder is less than 1,000 TEUs. It's like a feeder ship, right? This one is small feeders. Second is feeder ships around 1,000 to 2,500 TEUs. Then the Panamax ships 2,005 to 5,000 TEUs. Post Panamax 5,000 to 10,000 TEUs. There's difference between post Panamax and neo Panamax. Because post Panamax is beyond Panamax. Neo Panamax is new Panamax, new Panamax. Because Panama Channel, Panama Channel has been upgraded to a new canal, more bigger, more bigger, so that they can handle more ships at the time. That's why they call it new Panamax, a new Panama Canal. The existing and the new one is different size. The post, what usually if we talk about post Panamax or post Suezmax is something that is beyond the canal can handle. It's bigger, right? Same also to what Suezmax, 10,000 to 12,000. The existing Suezmax. Post Suezmax is more than 12,000 TEUs, right? The new Suezmax, because Suezmax also have been developed, have been extended to be more bigger, more deeper, to handle bigger ships. So they have apa namanya, what they call it, different criteria for the new Panamax, new Suezmax than before, because they can have the evergreen 15,000 containers. They can handle big ships because the depth is increased, the width is increased, and the distance, the alternative channel also increase, because in Suez Canal they have two ways, and they develop the new ways. Apa nama ni? The new ways been developed in 2016, been launched. It's quite new, and to expedite the movement of ships through the canal, right? And post Malacca Max is about tanker size. This is about tankers. Tankers, tankers. VLCC are very large vessels. Very large vessels that is very heavy. Usually, it's tankers. Tankers, big tankers. Post Malacca Max meaning that the draft of the straits can accommodate, but certain ports cannot accommodate the size of the tanker or the big ship VLCC. Right? But usually, post Malcolm refer to tankers, like big tankers. But it also refer to very big, very large container ships. That one also you must bear in mind. Not all ports are able to handle big ships like that, because the draft of the port is not that deep to cater the big ships, right? 21 meter and above, right? So that one you should take note lah. The difference. Okay. This is the size of the feeder, right? You see here, maximum dimension 31 meters, 23 meters. Okay, up to 1,000 TEUs to ni pun dah cakap tadi kan, tak ada. Alright. Dia pun dah explain last week, right? Okay, post ultra large container vessels which carrying 80,000, right, and above. Post Suezmax as their dimension are too big for the vessel to pass the Suez Canal. Size vessel were introduced in relation to the Suez Canal. is claimed that the transportation cost for per container for such a big ships may be about 30% lower than the normal feeder ship or normal container ships. So why they go for bigger? This is the reason. Like I kept telling you before, the economy of scale in mobility of the cargo of the or containers. That is why they keep on making bigger and bigger ships, carrying bigger and bigger, more and more containers. Because when you carry more, the cost of mobility for the container will be reduced up to 30% lower than the normal container ships, right? That's why this is the reason. So same, they big cost. What is the best? Is the best other than you can carry more goods selling at the same price as others, but the cost of operation is lower than others. That one is the best condition or situation that the business one night business organization or business people are looking for. To have a niche, to have a competitive advantage on the pricing, right? You are selling at the same price with others, but your cost of operating your total logistic cost is cheaper than others by 30%. 30% is a lot, right? And this percent will be your profit, add up to the profit, right? So just imagine why people are willing to spend billions of dollars to build bigger and bigger ships, right? This is the reason, right? Ini sudah kan post pandemic. Ini terbalik. Okay. Ni pun tadi saya cakap dah, post pandemic kan, ni sport tanker mostly lah, and very big vessels, VLCC. Only Singapore and Rotterdam can have that kind of draft, 31 meter and above, and they can accept big ships. See, this is the Panama Canal punya ship size, right? Post Panama Canal is 36 meter. Panama vessels 294 meter is more than this one is more than the size of Panama Canal. This is the normal Panama Canal. It's still also is a big ships, but they build bigger ships, right? And the draft is different. This is 50 meter. This is 12 meter. And the beam, beam? Beam is the width of the ships. Post Panama is beam 49 meter. The beam is very important to be notified, to be recognized, because in Panama Canal is different operation than the Suez Canal. Although both are canals, but the operation is different. That's why the beam size is important for the Panama Canal, because for Panama Canal they are locks, they are locks, not lock, macam kunci lah, macam kunci. They use a lock system to move the cargo to the canal. That is Panama Canal lah. They do lock system. For Suez Canal, they don't use lock system, right? Panama Canal, Suez Canal, they don't use any lock system. It's open. What I think do you know what is lock system? You know what is lock system? Checking time. Are you sleeping? Zhang Yiming. Zhang Yiming. Do you know what is lock system in operating the canals? Yiming, can you hear me or not?
Yes.
Speak louder, speak.
Can hear you.
Come again, I cannot hear you. Ewing, what happened to you? You not in the class. Tadi suara dia suara siapa Chang Yiming, are you in the class?
Yes, doctor.
Do you know what is lock system in canal operations? Not sure.
Ah.
Linda? Cik Roslinda ada?
Ada, doktor.
Awak tahu tak macam mana kanal beroperasi? Lock system.
Not sure.
Tak sure juga. Oh, you tak expose Okay. Farah Nadia? Ada Farah Nadia? Farah Nadia?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
Sorry,
Oh,
Alas.
ada? Tahu.
Ada. Saya pun tak tahu. Sorry.
Awak orang mana?
Saya orang Kelantan.
Pernah pergi Kuala Lumpur tak?
Pernah?
Pernah pergi main resort tak?
No, sir. Tak pernah.
Oh, tak tahu lah. Okay. Thank you. Pok Wan,
Yes, doctor.
you from where, Pok Wan?
From Selangor, doctor.
You been to my city or not?
No.
How come never been there? You are from Selangor, right?
No time, doctor. Don't have
No
time
time.
to go.
Wow, very busy nowadays. Your young people. Busy looking for money or what?
No, doctor. Doctor, wait for doctor bring us go.
Why I say mine resort? Because if you go to my resort, the mine shopping complex, the mine shopping complex is linked with a lake, right? Siapa pergi mine resort tahulah ni kan mine resort shopping complex is linked with a lake. There's a lake there near the resort that link with hotel seven apa? Golden Horses kan, hotel yang 5-7 star tu kan. The lake is linked with the hotel, and the lake also have a like a river flowing under through the shopping complex, and people can use to take boat there, and then go around in the shopping complex, and then coming out to the lake, right, and around the lake lah. When they go out to the lake from the shopping complex, there's a canal there, a small canal, and that is how Panama Canal is being operated. They use lock system, meaning that why is lock system happening exist because there are different level of different level of movement involved, right? The boat initially from the shopping complex is higher than the lake. Faham tak? The boat is higher than the lake. The shopping complex is higher than the lake. So the canal river, the river that they make a man-made river under the shopping complex is higher than the lake itself. So to go to the lake, you need to go to canal. The canal will control the water level in the canal through lock system, so that the boat can go at the same level with the lake and can travel through the lake. Itu maksudnya the lock system. Panama Canal use that one because the different heights, different topography, heights between the Atlantic Sea and also the Pacific Sea, right? Two seas, different height. So they need to have a lock system to bring the ships to that level, right? Understand? But for Suez Canal, no. For Suez Canal, there's no hill and mountains. They're just plain flat land. From the Strait of Suez to the port side, the other side of the part of Suez Canal. Port side is facing the Mediterranean Sea, right? So that's different, Nanti I show you the diagram. Best is kalau you dapat pergi main resort, you nampak proses canal. Tak tahulah, dulu ada lagi lah saya pergi kan, saya naik 2-3 kali lah juga round pusing kan. Ada nampak lah, ada lagi lah kan. Tapi kalau dah lama tak pergi kan, dah dekat beberapa tahun lah, tak tahulah dia masih operated atau not. Kalau ada, you boleh try see how the lock system operated. So the diagram illustrates the relative dimension of current Panamax and post-Panamax container ship. So this is post-Panamax, this is Panamax, current Panamax. So the beam is different, feet, 30 meter feet. You see here. Wait, I will show you how Panamax canal works. Wait, what do you mean by lock system? So here you see how Panama canals works. Animation. This is an animation. It's good for you to know how it works. You see Pacific Ocean here. Pacific Ocean. So they see the topography of across the Panama Canal, highly mountainous, and all full of hills. So from Pacific Ocean, low level, the lowest level is Pacific Oceans. Then there's a locking here. Then they push the water inside the same level. Then the lock and the ship move. Then they pull out fill the lock with water at the same level and move. And this is how they move from low level to high level. This is the lock system. You see, because they use a lock system, the width of the ship is limited, right, to the size of the lock of the man-made canal. This one, for the passing through the lock. The size is just is restricted to this size, right? See the ship here. This is ship one, and apa nama ni? It depends on the size of this lock system canal. And that's why it's limited the size, the beam. You cannot exceed. You cannot exceed lah. You exceed tak muat lah kan. Lower down. Ni menurun ni, dia menurun. Dia menurun kan. So to connect between Pacific Ocean and Atlantic Ocean, they use an artificial lake. They make Gatton Lake, artificial created, to make this thing possible. Right. Artificial lake ni is normal lah. People do artificial lake, right? For doing to help mobilize to help to the canal process crossing, the ship crossing, and also for what building dam. Building dam also you created new artificial lake. But this one is you created the lake for the purpose of mobility of ships from Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic Oceans. It seems that Pacific Ocean is low, right? And then in the middle is full high. The topography is more mountainous, so they need to move the ship from lower part to higher part of the route of the canal or the track of the canal, and then they go down back again to the level of the sea and to the ocean. So to do that, they need to have a locking system of canal like this.
When the
Oh, McDonald. Mm. Okay. Any question about the canal operations? Now you understand why you call it lock system, lock system. Kalau you nak tengok, you nak feel it lively, you go to Mine Resort. Maybe they have still have it. Right? You just imagine how brilliant it is. People can think about it. You just imagine to move through the canal is to go through the mountainous topography in the middle. How to deal with it? They build artificial lake, Caton Lake, to accommodate the ships to move. Right? How they move the ship from the sea level to the mountain level. You see how they move it, right? And how they go down again to the sea level on the other side. So it's very engineering feats that been done before. Why this happening? Because they want to cut time. If not, they had to travel around Cape of Magellan, right? Cape of Magellan, is Cape of Magellan is the at the nip of the South American continent, way down Argentina, right? The what near South Pole, not Pole, not Pole, South Pole. So ships from America or from Pacific want to go to Asia, to in Europe, then to go around. It's very far, very far. It takes 2 weeks to 1 month to travel around the continent of South America and go to the port, the Cape of Magellan. And that area is very critical area of food. I mean, the waters that is dangerous, open to storm and the strong streams, arus yang deras. Alright. Arus laut ni deras tu tak nampak dekat atas, tapi di bawah tu laju. To cut that, they use Panama Canal. And how they do it, just I told just now, right? That is the animation, how they do it. So it's very interesting. But the difference, okay. Panama Canal ni memang, Panama Canal initially is been operated by the US, US governed the Panama Canal, but in 19 berapa saya lupa dah. They surrender it to Panama country lah, to Panama lah, right? Then dia dekat Panama country handle it themselves lah, after the America hand over to them, right? And they built an extension to the canal actually for bigger ships, and more ships they can handle. The bigger ship and more ship can handle mean more money to them lah. They charge toll lah, macam toll lah. The toll dia bukan macam toll kita lah. Toll dia Sekali masuk beratus-ratus ribu US lah. Tengok size ships ya. Yes, they use this due to geographical topography difference. Macam Suez Canal, no need because all flat. From this sea to that sea, same level, right? Just imagine the area kan, is same level. Palace of Golden Horses, Aziz cakap. Palace of the Golden Horses dekat Mines. I stay in Palace of Golden Horses. I take a boat to Mines shopping center. Right. Their boat, from the lake to the shopping center, they use canal to move up the boat. Interesting lah, interesting. And go back to the hotel. They use also the canal to lower down the boat at the lake level lah. Nampak? You can go, you can experience the canal process lah there. Kalau you ada masa, you pergi jalan-jalan lah. Tak payah shopping pun, jalan-jalan je kan. Alright? Any more question you want to ask?
History of Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is a man-made waterway connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Indian Ocean via the Red Sea. It enables a more direct route for shipping between Europe and Asia, effectively allowing for passage from the North Atlantic to the Indian Ocean without having to round the African continent. Where is the Suez Canal? The Suez Canal stretches 120 miles from Port Said on the Mediterranean Sea in Egypt southward to the city of Suez. The canal separates the bulk of Egypt from the Sinai. Peninsula. It took 10 years to build, and was officially opened on November 17, 1869. Owned and operated by the Suez Canal Authority, the Suez Canal's use is intended to be open to ships of all countries. Construction of the Suez Canal. Construction began at the northernmost Port Said end of the canal, in early 1859. The excavation work took 10 years, and an estimated 1.5 million people worked on the project. In ancient times, a series of small canals connecting the Nile River to the Red Sea were in use as early as 2000 BC. Egypt was ruled by Britain and France at the time. The total costs of building the Suez Canal to balloon to $100 million, more than double the original estimate. Suez Canal opens. Ismail Pasha, Khedive of Egypt and the Sudan, formally opened the Suez Canal on November 17, 1869. Officially, the first ship to navigate through the canal was the imperial yacht of French Empress Eugenie, the L'Aigle, followed by the British ocean liner Delta. The SS Dido was the first ship to pass through the Suez Canal from south to north. Suez Canal during wartime. In 1888, the Convention of Constantinople decreed that the Suez Canal would operate as a neutral zone, under the protection of the British, who had by then assumed control of the surrounding region, including Egypt and the Sudan. The British famously defended the canal from attack by the Ottoman Empire in 1915 during World War I and 1940 during World War II. Suez Crisis. In response, in October 1956, troops from Britain, France and Israel threatened to invade Egypt, leading to the so-called Suez Crisis. Suez Canal today. An average of 50 ships navigate the canal daily, carrying more than 300 million tons.
Ada video.
Ya, tadi saya dekat PowerPoint bukan YouTube.
Nampak? You can see now?
Yes, sir.
Can, Doctor.
Can hear?
Can.
History of Suez Canal. The Suez Canal is a man-made waterway connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Indian Ocean via the Red Sea. It enables a more direct route for shipping between Europe and Asia, effectively allowing for passage from the North Atlantic to the Indian Ocean without having to round the African continent. Where is the Suez Canal? The Suez Canal stretches 120 miles from Port Said on the Mediterranean Sea in Egypt southward to the city of Suez. The canal separates the bulk of Egypt from the Sinai Peninsula. It took 10 years to build, and was officially opened on November 17, 1869. Owned and operated by the Suez Canal Authority, the Suez Canal's use is intended to be open to ships of all countries. Construction of the Suez Canal. Construction began at the northernmost Port Said end of the canal in early 1859. The excavation work took 10 years, and an estimated 1.5 million people worked on the project. In ancient times, a series of small canals connecting the Nile River to the Red Sea were in use as early as 2000 BC. Egypt was ruled by Britain and France at the time. The total costs of building the Suez Canal to balloon to $100 million, more than double the original estimate. Suez Canal opens. Ismail Pasha, Khedive of Egypt and the Sudan, formally opened the Suez Canal on November 17, 1869. Officially, the first ship to navigate through the canal was the imperial yacht of French Empress Eugenie, the L'Aigle, followed by the British ocean liner Delta. The SS Dido was the first ship to pass through the Suez Canal from south to north. Suez Canal during wartime. In 1888, the Convention of Constantinople decreed that the Suez Canal would operate as a neutral zone, under the protection of the British, who had by then assumed control of the surrounding region, including Egypt and the Sudan. The British famously defended the canal from attack by the Ottoman Empire in 1915 during World War I and 1940 during World War II. Suez Crisis. In response, in October 1956, troops from Britain, France and Israel threatened to invade Egypt, leading to the so-called Suez Crisis. Suez Canal today. An average of 50 ships navigate the canal daily, carrying more than 300 million tons of goods per year. In 2014, the Egyptian government oversaw an $8 billion expansion project that widened the Suez from 61 meters to 312 meters for a 21-mile distance. The project took 1 year to complete and, as a result, the canal can accommodate ships to pass both directions simultaneously. In March 2021, an enormous container ship heading from China became stuck in the canal and blocked more than 100 ships at each end of the vital shipping artery. Thank you.
So that is the little bit history on the Suez Canal. You can see the difference between Suez Canal and Panama Canal, whereby Panama Canal have a lock system, very limited mobility of ships in terms of size. But you can see the different. The Suez Canal is very big, wide, with the new with the new Suez Canal. They extended the width of the canal even bigger, and can mobilize both ways, using the canal. So it's quite big. I see the Suez Canal, and just imagine the Suez Canal. There's no lock system. There's no locking system. The whole stretch of the canal all are the same level between the Red Sea and also the Mediterranean Sea, right? So that's why movement is much more faster, lah, right? But in March 2021, the Evergreen case will block the whole canal, and just imagine 100 plus ships stranded there for 1 week, right? They rather wait for 1 week rather than go around the African continent to go to Europe, right? because it's costly. Take usually 2 weeks. Depend on the speed of ship, 2 weeks to 1 month go through the African continent. And that's why the Suez Canal is very important until not now, but way before in 1859. And also the Suez Canal as a dispute place for countries. Even they have war related to Suez Canal. So it's very important. How important is it? The Suez Canal to the world trade, and also the Panama Canal. Panama Canal is worse. Why? Because if without the canal, you need to move around the South American continent and to near South Pole and go back up again. Oh, very far away. That one even worse than the African continent, right? So that's why Panama Canal is very also strategically important for the US. That's why initially US handled it, US managed it, but now they have hand over to the country involved. The country where the canal is in. Okay. Any questions? Now you can see that this two canal. Why I highlighted to make you understand so that you know the importance of this two canal. Right. And there is one more canal. Tapi that one is important to the US and Canada only. The St. Lawrence Canal. That one related to river canal. River. You know, there's a Great Lakes. You know Great Lakes. Great Lakes in the North American continent. The Great Lakes, the three big lakes in the middle of the American continent that combine between Canada and US border. So that and the river that link to the lakes from straight from the Atlantic Oceans. They call it St. Lawrence Canal. St. Lawrence Passageway, you know, mistaken. Waterways, St. Lawrence Waterways. Right, that one I will show you later. So that's about it. About the there's few videos nanti you tengok lah. Apa nama ni Suez Canal punya video lah. Okay, these are the what I mentioned before. The container size for this thing for the Malacca Max, Post Malacca Max, Swiss Max, Post Swiss Max, Q Max, Multi Max, Panama Max, Seaway Max, China Max, New Panama Max. Okay, these are the size of the ships, no container ships. They use the refer to Malacca Max. These are the size, the length. You know air draft, not air draft. Air draft is the length from the surface of the seawater to the most high of the ships, the most high place of the ships. That's called air draft. The height between from the surface of the seawater to the highest point on the ship, that is air draft. Okay. Draft ni dalam lah, bin ni lebar lah. That's why the air draft they put under the what? Above the blue water, right? The blue sign. The blue sign is really water level lah, right? So air draft meaning that surface of the water to the highest point of the ship. That is Malacca Max, no air draft, unlimited. Swiss Med, yes, 68-meter air draft. Because why? There are some bridges across the Swiss Canal that the ship need to consider, because there are I think one or two bridge, big bridge that go across the Suez Canal, and the ship that go through the ship under the bridge need to have know the air draft so that they won't stuck to the bridge. So the beam is the width, right? See Panama Panamax beam is smaller than the Swiss Max beams and Malacca Max beam. Right, all these Max ni, Malacca Max usually they refer to tankers, tankers, because tankers are very big. You know, if you see tankers, they are more bigger than container ships. They're very, very big. They can sum up to 12 football fields. 12 football fields. You just imagine 12 football fields, right? Some are even 18 football fields. Size of the tanker is very big. China Mac refer to break bulk cargo, break bulk ships, break bulk ships. Neo Panama Max ni Neo ni refer to the Panama lah, New Panama punya size canal lah. Swiss Max lah, Swiss canal lah. Q Max is Qatar Max. Qatar Max refer to LNG ships because Qatar is the producer of ONG and they focus on LNG, right? So Q Max refer to LNG ships. Baltic Max is about Baltic Sea, refer to the Baltic Sea. Baltic, you know where is Baltic Sea? You can check the Google map, see the Baltic Sea. So this is the size of ships for Baltic Sea. Seaway Max, this is what they call it. Seaway Max is about St. Lawrence Passageway or St. Lawrence Waterway, right? St. Lawrence in Canada, in US and Canada, right? Okay, so these are the meaning of it. There are some others also like apa nama? Ada a few. It refers to the type of ships. Macam like itu just now China usually refer to bulk cargo ships. New Panama and Swiss refer to the canal lah. QMAX refer to the Qatar ports that lead to LNG. Seaway Max is St. Lawrence Canal passage. Baltic Max refer to Baltic Sea. Okay, hope we understand this. This is a great St. Lawrence Seaway. You see, this is not American continent. This is America. This is Canada, right? Canada. So the country here and the states here around the about the Great Lakes, very beautiful, but it can do very cold. See, because of the the winter too. Sometimes it's frozen up the lakes, right? So it's very nice place to go. The Niagara Falls is here. Niagara Falls, mana tadi? Around this area, Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls. So Great Lakes is involved Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and Lake Ontario. And but the most three Great Lakes is this one, Michigan Lake, Superior, and Huron Lakes, right? If you go, you can go there. You can come here and visit. It's very good. You can go. You should go lah. It's very beautiful, right? So these are the trade lines. People, because around the lake, the big cities like Chicago, like Toronto, like Detroit, all big city, right? So these are the trade lake movement using the lakes. And all the ships can go out using St. Lawrence River straight to the Gulf of St. Lawrence and Atlantic Oceans, right? This Great Lake is bigger than Malaysia, the lake size, right? So very big lake, Dia macam lake, macam laut dah kan. Tapi sebab dia in the middle of the landlocked area, so dia kira lake lah, right? Freshwater lakes, Okay, so these are the St. Lawrence Seaway, whereby from the Atlantic Ocean, they come in and they can go straight to Chicago, to Detroit, right, to Toronto. Here we have Quebec, nice city, right, Montreal, right, very nice city, right. So the many development and they call it a very populous area here, right? Highly populated area. So when highly populated area, meaning that the economic activities is high there. The magnitude of businesses is high. So the need to have ships coming from the Ocean straight here is there. So here they use interlock system, locking system, right? They use lock system. See from here, Gulf of Saint Lawrence, Quebec, Montreal. These are the rivers, the Saint Lawrence rivers. They go to this lake, and then they have a connection here, Buffalo, so big city, America, connect to Detroit, and then to the big lakes, right? This is what they call Saint Lawrence Seaway. These are the cross sections for the whole thing from Lake Superior, right? There's a lock here, right, going down to Lake Erie, Lake Huron, and Lake Erie, and then many locks here. Welland Canal, they call it Welland Canal, going down to Lake Ontario, right? Then there's a lock here, going down also to sea level. So from the sea level at Atlantic Oceans to Lake Superior, the height is like a 60-story building. See, the height resemble of 60-story building from Atlantic Ocean to the Lake Superior. Just imagine a ship that need to go through all the lock system, finally can go through Lake Superior. Just imagine the height is 60-story building height from Atlantic to Lake Superior. Again, so how the lock system can help to do this, right? Canal, You understand? Ni apa ni? Wait, And just imagine from Lake Huron to the Atlantic Ocean, 60-story height. Right? You can see right? You can see how the movement of ship just now, right? Going down, right? So just imagine if the ships come from Lake Huron, here, Lake Huron, here, Lake Superior, or Lake Huron, 60-story building going down to the ocean, going down until sea level, and then from sea level going up there. Just imagine, very interesting. This one is higher than Panama. Now we go further out, other type of ships. Example, roll on, roll off ships. Roll on, roll off is carrying vehicles, wheel cargo. Like your friend asked before, right? What is roll? Carrying cargoes, carrying cars usually lah, new cars, new trucks, whatever. Whereby the company doesn't want to invest to build a factory there, so they move the cargo to the country by sea, by ships, roll ships. You can see here how many story of cars there been stacked. I think it come to 1,000 cars, 800 to 1,000 cars can carry. And this one passenger ships. This one is more like this not a cruise ship. It's a passenger ships. Others is cruise ships. Passenger ship is different. They call it liner ship lah for passengers. If a passenger to commute between certain locations, between 2 points that is been separated by sea or by water. Right? This kind of liner service is popular in the Mediterranean countries and Greece. Like even in Korea also they have it. Liner ships carrying passengers. Remember one time ago, the ship sank in the sea and killed how many students aboard the ship. In Malaysia, those days is very Malaysia lah, very muhibah kan. But Sabah, Sarawak and Malaysia Peninsula, but no more. Then the other one is cruise ships. Cruise ship is for leisure, not for commuting. It's for leisure, meaning that the journey is leisure to the passengers. Then when they reach the destination, they go out and sightseeing, like a tourist lah, like a tourist. When they go back to the ship, they enjoy again leisure at the ships. That one is different. That one is for leisure and tourism. This liner passenger is for commuting. Right. The other one is dredges. Not dredges. Dredges is dredges ships is usually involve dredging activities to excavate sand or deepen the port area, right? To gather up bottom sediment and widen the port, widen the canal, widen the sea, deepen the sea, right? Or freshwater areas, they use dredges. These are dredges ships, menggali pasir kan. Sehingga in Johor Bahru there's common scenario for dredges because they sell sand to Singapore, right? Singapore need more sand to reclaim the land from the sea, right? Because Singapore island is limited, the size, so they need to expand. How they expanding the island is by reclaim the sea land. In Malaysia also they have reclaiming the sea land. In Melaka they reclaim a lot. In Penang they reclaim juga a lot, right? Those days there's no development along near the Penang Bridge, the first Penang Bridge, right? No development, no condominium, no hotels. But now they have hotels. That one is they reclaim the land from the sea, right from the sea. But that one is not much lah. But Singapore and Melaka, they reclaim 1 or 2 kilometers of land from the sea. In Singapore more than that, I think. Okay, and they use dredges. Dredges. The one is a special craft, high-speed craft, usually for commuting for passengers. Usually for passengers lah. Ini high-speed craft. The other one is hovercraft. Hovercraft, if you go to England, you take a hovercraft from Hull to Amsterdam. They have a hovercraft service. Quite fast, but a little bit noisy because of the fan, the hover. They need fan, they need air to hover, to move the ship above the seawater, like floating, and then they move. Even they can carry cars also from Hull to Amsterdam. If you have time, you have time. Like you have the opportunity, you should go and observe it. Fishing vessels. You don't think about fishing vessels like Malaysian. Malaysian usually have small fishing vessel. But what you talk about Thailand, about Vietnam, about Korean people, from Japanese fishing vessel, they are ships. They are big. They are ships, and they're not like boat. They are ships. Malaysian one is boat, but talking about fishing ship vessel is referring to big ships, whereby they move out from the sea, from the base to the sea, and they spend 1 week or 2 weeks looking for fish, even around the world. They look for fish, and then they come back. That's why you can see this kind of boat, big fishing vessels, is from Japan, because Japanese like to eat seafood, fish and everything. So they look for tuna. Tuna usually deep sea water fish. And then specialty ships. Specialty ships is a lot of vessel type. It can be multi-purpose ships. For many purpose. For example, offshore support vessels. These are support vessels for oil rigs. You know oil rigs? Pelantar pencari gali minyak kan? These are the support ships for them. For sending them supplies, everything lah. The ships. And then hospital ships. The whole ship is a hospital, right? Hospital, right? These are special purpose ship lah. So the other ship is you can look in the Google. They call it electric supply ships. Electric supply ships, whereby the whole ship is a sort of generator. They can give electricity to the locality, especially to the disaster-prone area ataupun to crisis-prone area, right? So these are the things. So we end up the subject matter today. Any question that you want to ask me? Dah pukul 4 dah. Any questions?
So far, no, sir.
Okay, good. So never mind. I hope you understand about the shipping, right? Types, and the canal itself is very important in world trade, maritime, the canal, right? So you understand now everything about those things lah, related to maritime. So we'll come to new topic next Wednesday. Okay. Thank you very much, and take care.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.